Hey everybody, it's Richie again. In this week's update on the Monster Scenes diorama that I'm doing, I'm going to show you that I had painted the pendulum as well as the cage and Dr. Dudley's operating tables as well as the skeleton, and I also laid down the skin tones for the Dr. Dudley himself, his daughter the victim, as well as Frankenstein. Okay, so I'll show you what I did first. I'll start with the pendulum. You saw I had primed it in black. In fact, I had primed most of the equipment in black and then all the figures in white. You saw that in the previous video. And with the black primer, I came over it and dry brushed the stonework in a dark gray. So you can see the stonework along the side of the pendulum itself. Gives it that stone effect. And then I also dry brushed Raw Sienna over the wood, over that black. Gives it that nice wood tone. You guys can see here. Really came out nice. The wood really looks really realistic. It came molded in brown, and I could have left it that way, but I thought it would be a lot nicer if I painted it and weathered it up. And you could see I gave it a copper metal that's mounted onto the pendulum with the copper pendulum itself. I was going to go with silver, but I thought the copper would give it a nice antique look. Again, you can see all this wood grain, very nice detail on it. And yeah, if you didn't want to paint it, you didn't have to. It was in brown. But then again, you really wouldn't see all this wood detail with the black in it. So that's kind of why I did what I did. Okay, so the second thing up is this hanging cage. And again, I had airbrushed this in a copper, and also did the same thing. I dry brushed the wood framing again with the Raw Sienna. And hold on a second, make sure it was Raw Sienna. I don't want to. Yep, Raw Sienna by Americana over that black primer to bring out the wood. And then I gave it both a nice wash on top of that, really bring out the details. And let's see if I could do this without knocking the cage down. So you can see it's really nice on both sides. Wood really came out nice. And I'm gonna try to move all this stuff around so I can show you the table. And again, I did the same thing with the tables. There's the other table back there. And you can see all that detail comes right out in the wood. Let's show you if I stand up on top of it. It's really very highly detailed tables. You know, the wood they do, you know, it's very nice. You could see it even in the legs. And I also did a wash on the skeletons, as well as the, let's see, I'll show you him too. Bring out all the details of that was Dr. Dudley's first patient. Looks a little skinny, but he's been hanging around there for a long time. And then again, I showed you, told you that I started the skin tones for Dr. Dudley's daughter, the victim, Dr. Dudley himself. You can see his face. Let's see if I can zoom right in. And they come out nice and smooth. In the previous video, you didn't really see it, but I had sanded down and filled in the gaps along the legs and the arms, as well as the bodies on all, including Frankenstein there. But I wanted to be able to maintain the movement with the arms, which I do. So I was kind of debating on gluing and filling them in because I wanted to do interchange all the arms that it comes with, as you can see over there. But I ended up not doing it. I just didn't like the gaps on the side, so these arms will move, but I chose these particular arms so they could do anything they want. But I can't interchange it because I did glue the bodies together and then filled it and sanded it. So anyway, hope you guys like what you see. There's Frankenstein there. I'm zooming in him. And again, this is just the face base coating. And you can see there's that one gap. It's not a gap because this body comes off, because you could switch the body to that body, which I'm going to do. So I can't fill that in because this just pops right off and pops on hard. So depending if I want to use these legs for Frankenstein to carry her, or her just standing, all depending on what pose. So certain things I just can't do. Same thing. You don't see the gap for Frankenstein's pants because it kind of goes in and his jacket goes over it, so that's okay. But you see that little gap there, but I mean that's what it's meant for, because that body comes off and just snaps onto that. So I need to interchange that, and I have the arms able to open. Okay, so anyway, hope you guys like this week's update. And also in between builds, I did, which I already put in my case, I should have left it out. I did a pirate, and I also did starting this Egyptian. These are those little Reaper figures. I mean, and I just, like I said, just laid down the base painting on her. I completed the pirate girl, and I put her in with my other diorama that you saw. That's a baboon that goes with this. So I've been doing those in between working on these figures. Okay, so I hope you guys like it. And again, this week's update is painting and weathering the cage and the pendulum and the tables and skeleton, and laying down the skin colors for the Frankenstein, Dr. Deadly, and his daughter, as well as washing the skeleton and the skeleton heads and the tables. Okay, so I'll see you guys on the next video. Actually, this video went way longer than I wanted it to be. I thought it was only going to be a couple minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, see you guys on the next video.